This is episode 51. I know last time I said it was episode 49, but it was in fact 50. So this is episode 51. Thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing and giving thumbs up and comments and feedback on all of the episodes that you may have watched. I really do appreciate that. And I appreciate each and every one of you that take the time out of your busy schedule to tune in and support the podcast. So, my name is Sharon Graff, in case this is your first time watching, and I am the owner of The Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. And we specialize in yarns from around the world and Texas, and the United States too, everywhere basically, that are hand-dyed, quality luxury fibers. So, breed-specific yarns, we do hand-dyed yarns, we do small batch artisan yarns, silks, cashmeres, plant-based fibers, handmade notions, accessories, bags, everything that is basically considered handmade, artisan, environmentally friendly impact, fair trade, things like that. That's what we focus here on, or at The Modern Skein. So I do hope you will stick around and take a watch of this episode. I will just warn you, it's just been one of those days, mornings already. It's like 9:30. I should have been podcasting earlier, but I'm just frazzled. So, bear with me. Hi. Yeah, it's going to be one of those episodes. But I always like to start off with, if I have finished objects, my finished objects, and then we move into works in progress. And I'm happy to announce that I have 2 finished objects to show you on the podcast, one of which I created. I didn't create it, I just knit it. In a way that's creating, but I didn't write the pattern. So, just to clarify that. So, a project that I finished personally myself, and then a project that one of our amazing staff here, Heather, knit up for us as well. So, let's get started. And I almost had that with the paper on it. Okay. So, first off, what Heather knit for us is this beautiful cowl. This is the Hipster Cowl by Tot le Matin. You can see it's a nice, generous cowl. So, for those people who don't like things around their neck, it's a great cowl because it's just throw it on. It's going to lay beautifully. It's not going to choke you up around your neck. But it's so fun, and you have this little fringy detail. Of course, you could leave it off if you don't want to do the tassels, if you want a smoother edge. But this is the Hipster Cowl by Tot le Matin. And you can see it has the same kind of motif and Indian cross stitch that her hipster shawl has, but in cowl form. And Heather knit this up actually pretty fast. I want to say it took her less than a week to knit this up, block it, put all the tassels on. And it just takes 3 skeins of DK weight yarn. This is Stiletto and Jeans by Chelsea Lux, and it's just gorgeous. You can see there. It's so pretty. In fact, it's so pretty, I'm actually going to steal this away from the shop and take it with me on my trip. So if you want to see it, come in before Saturday. Otherwise, I'm going to be taking it with me on my trip. It's going to be just so good. Take it on the plane. I'll double it up, have that coziness around my neck, because I'm always cold on airplanes. I'm either boiling hot or freezing cold. There's no in between. But that'll be just so nice. I love it. And it's so soft. The Chelsea Lux... I just lost an earring. There it is. The Chelsea Lux yarn is so... Let me see if I can get this on. There we go. The Chelsea Lux yarn is so soft and squishy. But there you go. So, that is the Hipster Cowl. Ta-da! As far as difficulty goes, I would say this is a great advanced beginner or adventurous beginner knit. You're basically doing garter stitch, and then you have a pattern motif with knits and purls. And then the most complicated thing is an Indian cross stitch, which really isn't that complicated. It's triple yarn overs and then you're crossing them. She links to some great tutorials, and there's other great tutorials on YouTube as well. And you can always pop in the shop and we can help you through that step as well. Remember, anytime you come in the shop, if you have a question, concern, you need help reading a pattern, picking out yarn, or substituting yarn, feel free to ask any one of us here at the shop. We are more than happy to help you, and we do not charge for those kind of services. The only time we charge to help you out is if you want to request a private lesson, which is a 1-hour time slot of just you and one of our teachers here at the shop to go over step by step, perhaps a really advanced problem that you're having, or pattern reading, chart reading, things like that. But just regular day-to-day help, of course, no need to schedule, and we are happy to help. So that's the hipster cowl. And then what I finished late last night, probably a little too late, I should have gone to bed, but I finished it. It has not been blocked because I did not have time to do that. I meant to, but like I said, I've just been frazzled. Okay, this is the Night Nook by Stephen West, and you can see it's all finished. Ta-da! So the yarn that I used, the dark background yarn, main color is Ching Fibers 100% BFL Aran in the colorway Bluefinch, and then this light gray it's kind of a blue gray, is the Croft by West Yorkshire Spinners, and I believe the colorway Lyric. So the only modifications I did to this was the striping sequence is supposed to be continued on the sleeves. I did not. The sleeve is also supposed to be a full-length sleeve with a 6 or 7-inch ribbing cuff. Excuse me. I just did about a 2.5-inch rib, and it's going to be about bracelet length on me because I didn't want that. And I believe, I'm actually not sure what he called for on the body. Once I split and it was just knit straight. I just knit straight as long as I wanted and then did a twisted rib and a regular cast off. He may have called for a fold over hem to match this neck, but I did not do that. I was starting to get really low on yarn. I didn't bring it, but I had like that much left. So I won yarn chicken for sure, but I did use up more of my main color than I expected because I did not do the striping sequence on the sleeves. So there is that. But yeah, it turned out so good. I am going to give this a nice wet block and weave in my ends and fix the little hole there. It's not a drop stitch or anything, that's just the hole from picking up my stitches for underneath the sleeve, and so when you weave in your ends that completely disappears. So yeah, it's a really nice one. It's got the only, I'll say, advanced thing with this pattern is that it has these brioche 15 stitch shoulder like epaulets right here. I do know several people that instead of doing a 15 stitch brioche, they're doing 15 stitch 1x1 rib in its place, doing that for the required number of rows, so they can do the correct stitch count on the yoke instead of a ribbing. And so you can totally sub that out. Or you can come in and we can help you. It's very simple brioche because it is 2 colors, so it's easy to see, and you are just doing straight. There's no increases or decreases. So it's not super difficult, but then you have some short row shaping for the front yoke, and basically you do like a garter stitch on the front and the back, and then you join in the round and you do stockinette. So it's a nice mix of textures, and then it's just traditional the rest of the way. This is a fold over collar, which I really like. I did that on the Bubble Shawl by Stephen. This is, I think I said it, Night Nook by Stephen West. I did the fold over neck on, just went ahead, the Bubble sweater, also by Stephen West, and it turned out so pretty. I love it. I will say the fold over collar is probably the closest to a machine knit, professionally knitted garment that you would find, like a mass-produced sweater. You'll see, if you take a look at a mass-produced sweater, typically the neck is a fold over ribbing. Typically, not always, but that's typical. It just gives a very clean, polished look, and it's also very comfortable to wear as well, because you don't get the, sometimes if you do especially a bind off or a cast on from the collar going down, it can pull, your cast on or your bind off can pull in and be a little snug. You don't get that with a fold over because you are in fact folding it over, so the part that's resting up around your neck, even if it's lower or whatever, it's just stockinette or ribbing or whatever folded over, so it's much smoother and softer on the neck. Okay, so then my works in progress, I have quite a few, as you know, if you've watched several episodes, but I did get the Night Nook finished, which was my goal before we left for the trip. I still am working on my rose cardigan, which I brought, and I'll show that in a second, and the Choppy Waves. I did bring that, but I haven't really worked on that at all. I'm debating if I'm going to bring it on the trip with me. Real quick, we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, going overseas, yada, yada, yada. So, I'm trying to plan what I'm taking for my projects. I will be taking the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along that starts tomorrow, Friday, October 4th. I will be taking that. My mom and I are actually doing that together, and we're both going on the trip. So it will be a fun kind of trip knit along that we're doing. And then I'm going to take a sweater. And the reason I say a sweater is because I don't know what sweater I'm taking. I have my yarn wound up, and it's going to be one of 2 sweaters. Either the No Frills No Frills sweater by Petite Knit, which I have wanted to make for a while now, and that's what the yarn that I'm taking was originally purchased for, or the Daydreamer by Andrea Mowry. The one problem I have with the Daydreamer is not a problem with the pattern. I am just like that short of yarn. Now, I can always get more of the yarn. That's not a problem. But it won't be the same dye lot, for one. That doesn't really bother me typically, because I have plenty to do the body, and I would just, if I do this, I would just wait and alternate on the sleeves with the new skein, because I'm pretty sure, because I have 1,200 yards, and I believe for the size I would knit of the Daydreamer, I only need 15, so that would literally be just one more skein of each. Because what I'm knitting it in is Shibui, Silk Cloud, and just went out of my head. What's the other base? It's their silk base. Begins with a V. I can see it, but I can't say it. It's not Veil. And I didn't bring it with me. But in the colorway Pollen. So that rich, nice, lovely golden color. I think it would be really pretty as Daydreamer. So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking my Mystery Knit Along with the needles and everything. Of course, it comes out tomorrow. We don't leave till Saturday, so I'll probably already have that cast on and started on it. Then I'm going to take the sweater. I'm going to take both the pattern for printed out, the Petite Knit and the needle sizes that I need, and for the Daydreamer and needle sizes that I need, and decide basically on the plane what I'm actually going to do. Excuse me. And then I'm also taking, because we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, I can't just have 2 projects. So I'm taking, I really should take Fading Waves and bust through that. But it is kind of a nice, I really should take that. But then I also I wound yarn for another shawl that I've been thinking about doing for a while. And then I had a lone skein in my stash, so I would be stash busting. Of course, I've got 2 skeins from my own shop to fill it in, but we won't talk about that. The Color Crave, also a Stephen West pattern. Yes, I'm knitting a ton of Stephen West patterns because he is coming to our shop. If you haven't heard, now you know. Stay tuned for details. I will announce at the end. What was I just saying? Oh, Color Crave. So I have that, and I'll show you the yarn for that. So I'm probably going to take that, and I may take Fading Waves. And I may also take the Rose Cardigan. I know. Actually, I probably won't take the Rose Cardigan, only because you knit 4 quadrants, then they have to be blocked before you seam them together and all that stuff, and I won't have what I want to pin it out properly and block it and everything. So I'm not going to take the Rose Cardigan. Here, you just heard it first. Not taking that. So I will then, because I want to take 4 projects. The sweater, the yet to be determined sweater, the Mystery Knit Along, Fading Waves to hopefully finish it, and Color Craving to get it cast on the needles. So many things to knit and so little time, especially since, frankly, we're getting so busy here, which is a great thing, obviously, not complaining. But I have so little time to actually knit in the store. There's days that I actually don't even bring knitting because I know I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, it's just, there's so many things to do to run a yarn shop. So if you think, oh, I want to open a yarn shop so I can sit and knit all day. Yeah, no. Just go visit your local yarn shop so you can sit and knit all day, because the owner of the shop does not get to do that. Anyway, I think I've showed this before. This is my first quadrant of the Rose Cardigan. So this is my back right. Ta-da! The fade is so soft and subtle. So you might look at this and say, oh, you have 3 colors. There's actually 4, and it fades right about here. But it's so subtle. You only really see it up close because you see the speckles change from like the golden into more of the blue that's in here. You can see it a little bit better on this side. Fade, here, fade, another color 4, and then fade. So this is, it has not been blocked yet, but this is the first quadrant, and I am almost done with quadrant 2, which is, and I'm in the middle of a row. Yeah, I finished my fading sequence, so I'm now on just the last color. This will be this part, the left front. So I'll have the neck shaping that I do for the front piece on this one, and then I will do the the left back and the right front. And then those 4 quadrants will be done. I block them out, then seam them up, then pick up and knit for cuffs, waistband, and neckband. So this is definitely making progress, and I am enjoying it. The charts are so helpful. If you're going to knit this, don't let it be intimidating to you, because with the chart, it is very, very easy, because you literally just check off your row as you go. I've even been able to knit this socially in the shop at our knit night, so I know someone's going to be like, well, yeah, but you're Sharon, so of course you can, because you can knit at night in the dark and cable and without a needle and blah blah blah. Well, I'm just like you guys. I've just been doing this longer. Some of you. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have been knitting longer than I have. Anyway, where am I going? I don't even know. I'm just so frazzled. Okay, so color craving. Let me show you this. Horrible picture because my printer printed it black and white. I don't know why, but you can kind of see. And you can see a little bit better here. It's a elongated triangle shape. If you are familiar with the Evolve shawl by Joji Locatelli, I knit that and showed it on here. Similar shape. Start at the point and end at a wider bit. So that's color craving. It's a 3-color pattern. And so I had this skein of Undercover Otter in my stash. Now I picked this up. Yes, I smell my yarn. I picked this skein up when I was in Amsterdam at Stephen and Penelope. And when I first saw Undercover Otter for the very first time, when they were still exclusive only to Stephen and Penelope. And so this is her colorway, Wicked Little Things. And I've had this, and I knew it needed to be in a Stephen West shawl because, I mean, hello. Look at those colors. But I wasn't sure what. Then, I was looking up a pattern for someone else in the shop and saw color craving again. I was like, this would be good for color craving, but I would need 2 other colors. I'm going to show you, well, obviously, you can see this and you're like, yeah, you're never going to wear that. No, you're right. I'm not going to wear it particularly. But I actually, don't tell anyone, I love knitting with crazy, bright, fun-colored yarn. However, I don't wear crazy, bright, fun-colored yarn, clothing, etc. So, I knit things that I will wear, and then I knit things that I just want to knit for the fun of knitting it, and those become store samples. You will notice I have a lot of pink store samples that were knit by me, and I don't wear pink, but they were fun to knit. Why? I don't know. But anyway, so this is my main color. This is, I know, this is my second color. This is Matrix by Ching Fibers, and it is a really fun lime and moss green combo. But it literally matches these speckles perfectly. I don't know if you can see that. It does. Then, so color 3 in his pattern depends. He has a sample that he did just 3 fingering weights. And then he had one where he did 2 fingering weights and then doubled a mohair because he could for color 3. And so instead of doubling a mohair, I happen to have some Surrey here at the shop in the perfect color. No, it is not pink. Boom. Ta-da! So yeah, if I wear this, you will see me coming a mile away in the dark because I'll probably glow. But yeah, this is going to be so fun. So this is the color Brick from Ching Fiber on Baby Siri. I also have this on fingering. If you wanted to make it very similar, you can see it shows up very different on screen, but in reality, this is just a wee bit lighter than this, but barely. And you might be thinking, oh, this is really cool, but Sharon, you don't sell Undercover Otter. That's right. I don't sell Undercover Otter yet. Ta-da! Our big surprise trunk show for the Stephen West experience. The class and the meet and greet is going to be Undercover Otter. So we are getting in, gosh, I think like 60 of her colorways that are the most popular, including Wicked Little Things. And it's so awesome. So we will have that for the Stephen West experience. I don't know what else to call it because the class, of course, is sold out. It's going to be November 6th. So November 6th is a Wednesday. We will be closed to the general public until 1 p.m. I almost said 1 a.m. No, 1 p.m. because we'll be having the private class in the morning. So we will open for the general public at 1 p.m. on November 6th and be open till 5. From 1 to 4 will be the meet and greet for Stephen West, which is totally free to attend. However, do recommend that you come in with some patterns in mind. If you want to cast on a Stephen West project, bring some stuff that you've maybe already made with him so you can get your pictures taken. If you already have some of his books, bring them. He can sign them. If you don't have any of his books, I will have all West Knits 1, 2, and 3, which the 3 is the new one that is supposed to be arriving today. I don't know with the mail situation, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. And Hybrid Knitting. So we will have all 4 books of his available for you to purchase that day. Have him sign that. And, of course, you can see and check out the Undercover Otter Trunk Show. It's really not a trunk show, it's a pop-up shop. So we have the yarn. And you can get Stephen to help you pick out colors, pair colors together. And I know some of you guys are like, yeah, but I don't like the colors he picks. That's his personal choice. Just like my personal choice is to knit most things for me and myself in shades of grays and blues and gold. But I'm more than happy to pick out fun, bright colors and everything, and totally. Anyway, I digress. You want to have him help you pick out some stuff, maybe pick out some patterns from one of his new books, all that fun stuff. Where am I going with this? Anyway, so come on Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for the meet and greet. We'll be open till 5, and we will have some light refreshments as well during the meet and greet. So be sure to come. It'll be like a party. It's going to be packed in here, I know it, but it's going to be so much fun. Stephen is really fun to hang out with. I got to meet him several times at Vogue Knitting Live in New York, and while he is a little bit on the shy side, he is very talkative and loves to help people pick out yarns, talk about knitting, seeing everyone's designs and how they pick it, how they've made any modifications to it or anything like that, how they pick out their colors. He loves to do that, and he's very genuine. So be sure and come on by. November 6th, 1 to 5, or 1 to 4, and then, like I said, if you did make it into the class, that's great, and we will see you bright and early that morning at 9 a.m. Let's see, the other thing, oh, I didn't put this back. The other thing is we just got in the last box of Life in the Long Grass. So I'm going to run you through the colors that were in the second box real quick, and then we're going to open the shop this morning. So Life in the Long Grass, this is all her fine sock, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon. So that's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it is 460 yards. Great for socks, great for shawls, great for garments as well. It's a beautiful round plied yarn. So this is the color Terracotta. Beautiful color. Very rich. Great in color work, by the way. Excuse me. This is bronze. What I love about the bronze color is it also has like these taupe bits running through it. So it's really pretty. Then you have Gorse, beautiful golden. This is a really like on point fashion color right now. And you have those little speckles of dark forest green. Then this one's a fun one. This is Shield. We've had this color before. It's very popular. This is Dark Truffle. So if you like the moody purples, this is your color. This is Pressed Flower. It's kind of like a soft version. It and Dark Truffle pair beautifully together. You could even throw in Shield in the middle. You just have all sorts of options. This is Sky Swan. Really nice sky blue with light speckles. Very frosty to me. This one is gorgeous. Of course, it's very much neutral. This is Snowdrift. It has little specks of like a deep purple and a little teal and a tiny bit of pink and yellow too, but very, very soft. So it reads very neutral. This is Queen. So if you're looking for a nice kind of musty, dirty coral color with speckles, it's perfect. This is Flax. Kind of a chartreusey, but again, more on the dull side, so not day glow bright like it's showing up here, with teal and yellow speckles. They're just so poppin'. Her speckles are gorgeous. Then we have Baroque. This pairs really pretty with Rose Garnet as well, which is like the brighter version of Baroque. And then this is Henna Rose. Beautiful. This is Gold Dust. So again, another kind of golden neutral with a little more brighter, vibrant speckles. This is Seed Head. Love this one. Kind of that dirty taupey green with speckles of rust and yellow. This is Space Ash. Lovely kind of dusty teals. You have those big ribbons of brighter teals and darker teals running through it. It's really pretty. Then this is Rose Hip. Hold on. Pulled the band right off. There we go. This is Rose Hip. Beautiful like pale lilacs and sea foams and then kind of rusty terracotta colors in there. And then we have Wheat. Again, another neutral, but this time with lots of color pops within it. This is Harvest. Perfect neutral golden pollen color. Great for fall. And this is Winter View. This Winter View pairs great with the Space Ash, and then also we got it in on the other box, the Svara. This makes a beautiful pairing right there. All sorts of options, so come in and check it out. And we also have quite a few sale bins and closeouts going on right now to make room for more fall yarn that's coming in, so be sure and check that out as well. Like I said, come in for on November 6th. We will also have an event happening in December with Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn, so stay tuned for that. Sign up for our email newsletter and you'll get all of the details on everything that I've just mentioned. Yeah, and we hope to see you soon. I need to hurry up and open up the shop because it's 10 o'clock. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.